Welcome back to another Spot On chat. I'm Rebecca Monet with Zorakle Profiles. Zorakle provides profiling tools to franchisors and franchise brokers that helps facilitate a right fit between a prospective franchisee and a franchise system. Talking about franchisors, I have with me today Laura Spaulding. She's the founder and president of Spaulding Decon, which is the fastest growing crime cleanup franchise in the world. So welcome back, Laura. I'm so glad to have you.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you're in a crazy business. I mean, crime cleanup, right? So I'm sure you got some great stories you could tell us. Is there one that's just kind of top of mind for you that was the most unusual or the strangest project that you might have worked on?
You know, this business has no shortage of stories. And that's one of the things that I love about this business is there's no monotony. Every single day is different. And unfortunately, we meet some clients at the worst points of their lives, the worst times of their lives. So, you know, I find a lot of gratification in being able to help them through whatever they're going through. But one story always comes to mind, and I typically tell this in franchise training as well, because I want them to get an idea of the diversity of people that you're going to come in contact with. So it was probably about 10 years ago, we got called to a suicide cleanup. And it was an elderly man that was apparently terminally ill, and he just didn't want to go through the pain of being terminally ill, which we do quite a bit of, ironically. And his daughter was an adult, probably in her mid-20s. And so we went over there to clean it up, and she insisted on watching every aspect of the cleanup. And I thought that was strange, but then I thought maybe that's part of her grieving process. Maybe she needs to see this. So he had put a pillow over his head and shot himself, so to muffle the sound of it. So there wasn't like a great deal to clean up because the bed had taken the brunt of it. But when he shot himself, he must have hit himself somewhere in the lower part of his mouth because a tooth and part of his jaw had come out and was on the bed area. When she saw us pick that up, she insisted on keeping it. And I thought,
oh, you give me the willies.
Wow. And I'm not at a loss for words very often, but that was one time that I didn't know what to say. And I said, you know, are you sure you want to do this? And she said, yeah. So she kept it, and it was like a part of a jaw with the tooth on it. So we come back the next day to finish the rest of the cleanup, and she's wearing it around her neck.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And showing it and bragging about it. Oh, I cleaned it, and I'm going to wear part of my dad. And I was like, wow, I've seen it all now. You know, that's never happened since, but I found it very, very odd.
That is very odd. But like you said, humans are complex beings, right? And it was her way of dealing with a very odd reality and her way of grieving and mourning and getting through what she needed. It's not how you would do it. It clearly is not how I would do it.
Right.
But to her, it's what she needed. She needed dad close to her. And she took the opportunity to do that. And at the same time, the cleaning somehow was some kind of, I guess, closure or something that she needed to go through.
Yeah, I mean, humans grieve in very different ways. And, you know, I teach franchisees and staff members this all the time. You never want to pass judgment on how someone grieves. Like some people will say, oh God, that person's callous because they're not crying. Well, maybe you would have cried, but maybe that person doesn't view it that way. So there, you know, there's a million different stages of grief, and it's important that however you grieve is how you grieve. It can't be judged by someone else.
Which brings up the whole topic then. As a franchisee, they're going to be experiencing these similar experiences that you have.
Correct.
So it requires, I would think, a high degree of empathy and compassion and awareness of these emotions that a client would be potentially going through. And like you said, being non-judgmental and allowing that space for someone to go through whatever it
Yeah.
is. For some, it's
Just
anger, for some, it's
yeah.
sadness, or whatever.
Absolutely. You know, and to give Zorakle Profiles a plug here, you know, this is one of the reasons we use this, you know, powerful tool is because I cannot train you to be empathetic. You either are or you're not. So, you know, we use that as a tool to make sure that this person's a brand fit for us. Because, you know, you might be a perfect fit for a sandwich shop, but if you don't have any empathy, you can't do what we do.
Wow. Yeah, like you said, especially in this business where you are meeting a client at likely the worst place they've ever been,
No
right?
doubt. Yeah.
And so that requires incredible understanding of people and compassion and empathy. Well, I applaud what you are doing. I'm fascinated by what you are doing. And your passion is so obvious, and the way you support your franchisees is second to none. So I
Thank
applaud
you.
you, Laura.
Thank you.
So I'm going to have you back for another chat if that's okay with you.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right.